Help us to live our lives in honor and praise of your name, in Jesus' name. The leadership competencies that brought us here will not take us further. Things have changed. So be a great leader of self, be a great leader of teams, and a great leader of your organization. The thing that brought us to training is not people. Times have changed, but artificial intelligence is taking over literally every day. And that's the reason we can't afford to not be a part of it.
But wherever you find yourself, whatever kind of career you are in, you must know about 30% of your tools that you work with. AI is as good as your thinking. AI is as good as what you feed into it. We have close to about 2,400 AI tools right now.
If the world is moving around you and you're not moving with the world, you become a change victim rather than a change agent. You need to be open-minded and be curious to learn. Don't wait for the future of work to happen. The future is when? Is now. Understand global trends in your profession. Embrace new technological tools. Help us to live our lives in honor and praise of your name, in Jesus' name. The leadership competencies that brought us here will not take us further. Things have changed. So be a great leader of self, be a great leader of teams, and a great leader of your organization.
It's my turn. All right. It's my grandma. Joins and sit down and first class. Don't try to keep going. I saw this to say. Joins and say, let's see for me. Everything right. It's yeah.
Good morning once again, everyone. Thank you for deciding to be intentional about your careers, about your businesses, about becoming a better version of who you are to become more impactful in society, because your growth is growth for Nigeria, for Africa, and the world. Once again, my name is Ibukumba Nkole, and I thank you for deciding to come to, find your purpose in career and business, which is the theme for today's event. If you're excited to be here, I need you to give yourselves a warm round of applause, because some people saw the flyer, some people saw the communication online, and they were like, okay, I've seen it, but I'm not interested. But it's a leap of faith for you to decide to come here and learn how to better your life and, you know, by extension, better Nigeria and better the world. Daystar Career Development Program has been doing this for the last 3 years, impacting individuals to be more intentional and position themselves in their careers and in their businesses. And today will be no different. But first off, like I did earlier, I need you to turn to the person on your left, on your right, and say, good morning. Congratulations for being here. I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that. Because I'm one, I know I have a mic, right? And I'm one person. But now, I mean, everyone is here. Imagine if we are all talking. Like this place would be almost resounding with voices. So I want to hear you loudly and confidently with your full chest, as is it Gen Zs that say it. Confidently say, good morning. Congratulations for being here. All right, please, can you give yourselves a warm round of applause? Today, we'll be having a panel session, online and offline, where you'd be learning about different things that would improve your career and your business, whether you're just starting your career. So if you're just starting your career, please, can I see a show of hands? 1, 2. Okay, I can see a hand up that I know that it's just a joke, right? Okay. So, and if you know you've been working for about 7 to 10 years, can I see your hands? And if you've been working for way longer than that, our mommies and daddies in the house, please, can we see your hands up? Wow. So I'm glad that we have a mix of different individuals. So we are all here to learn, and there's something for each individual. And we know that as much as this is a career event, this is still, whether we like it or not, we are all positioned here by God to add value to the world, right? And win souls for Christ. So there is something for everybody here. And if you truly are here with your heart, just know and believe in your heart that today you're not living here the same way you came. Today you're living with something important, something that will transform your life. And honestly, I promise you with my full chest that if you have that mindset, your mind will be open to seeing things that would help you become a better person. Your mind would be attuned to picking things as quickly as possible. All right, so with all that being said, my name is Ibukun Bankole, and I'll be steering you throughout the journey of this event. But right now, I would call on Mr. Lanre Basamta. He's our lead at DCDP to, give us an opening speech and let us fully have a grasp of what we're here to do today. Please, a warm, resounding round of applause as Mr. Lanre Basamta comes on stage. Please, let's keep the applause going.
Yeah, good morning. I don't get a lot of people call me Mr. Lanre Basamta, so that's fair. Good morning. Good morning. I do a lot of training, so the good morning part is maybe the best part of the work that I do. I want to say thank you for making the time to be here. I should project more. Okay. Good morning, my training voice. It's good to have you, right? I must state again that I really do appreciate, on behalf of myself and the team, we really appreciate that you can make the time here. We would have been more encouraged if we had a fuller house, but we are more familiar with this approach when we do our trainings. Beside the fact that we do not yet have the full house, I want to say a very big welcome to all of our facilitators who surprisingly are here on time, despite the fact that quite a lot of them, if not all of them, have to travel to be here. Last week, Sunday, we were here to do some bit of recce, preparations. And I was discussing with the team here that, some of us are going to travel And somebody said, are you traveling from Lagos to Ikorodu? It's Ikorodu, not Lagos. The truth is, from a distant perspective, many of our facilitators have traveled to be here, and we truly, really appreciate that you can be here on time. If you don't mind, please, a warm round of applause. So the summary of my job is to give you some bit of a summary of what we're going to be doing here today. We've designed this program to be a skill transfer workshop. What that means is that for the better part of today, with the help of our facilitators, we're going to be trying to transfer very useful, relatable, practical skills that will help you in your career journey. As Daystar Career Development Program, we have never hosted a program in Ikorodu. Our hope is that this inaugural program would be a legacy-defining one. What that means is that for the better part of today, if you paid attention, if you participated, if you engaged, collaborated, and tried to network, we can almost bet that your career will take a leap from today. So our trust, our hope in God is that it will grant us the grace, the courage, the possibilities to truly contribute enough in a way that makes a difference in your career. So again, I want to say welcome. We'll be here for some time, but I can almost bet you that today will be time well spent. Thank you so very much. God bless you. It's good to have you.
Please, let's give our leader, DCDP, another round of applause. Okay, so I know a lot of us traveled down, especially our speakers. Thank you once again for being here. And so this is like we're visiting Ikorodu. And of course, you know, when you say in Yoruba, go nile, shekawole. So now we're in, and I'd like to call on Pastor Seun Ladokun. He's the center pastor for Daystar Ikorodu Center. Please, a warm round of applause as he comes up to welcome us and also cheer us on to have an amazing event. A resounding round of applause. Okay, so please, I need you to keep that applause coming because he's coming in all the glory and the might of God to come and welcome us. And please, I need that resounding round of applause as he comes to the stage.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. We are so happy and excited to have you here. A very warm welcome to all our facilitators. Thank you for making our time to just come and be a blessing to the amazing people right here. And thank you to the team as well for considering bringing this here. Like the coordinator said, we are open and trusting God that beyond just having a career program that will be very relatable, transferable skills so that you can hold on to something that you're living here with. I want to encourage everyone, be open, be expectant, be free, ask questions. There are no wrong questions. Don't feel like if I say this, what would they feel? No, you have a goal. And I want also to encourage you that you have an expectation. I would say that the expectations of the righteous will not be cut short. Have an expectation. By the time I'm leaving this place, what am I going to live here with? What do I want to become? The truth is, everyone we see here, they started from somewhere. Nobody became what they had today all of a sudden. There was a journey. So if they can be here, no matter the level you are now, you can build a journey. There is hope. You can become all you want to become. With the grace of God, as you trust God, have your goals and have mighty dreams, everything is possible. So, like I said, let's have a wonderful time. Send message to people that are supposed to be here that are not here. Let them know they are certain, and let's trust God for the best. I'll be back here for some other things. Once again, thank you very much. Enjoy yourself and have a very good time. God bless you. Thank you.
All right, please, can you keep the applause going till he goes back to his seat? So before we move on, I'd like to crave your indulgence to please move forward, move closer, move closer, move closer. I know a lot of us, maybe back in school, were backbenchers. I was not a backbencher. I was a front bencher. So even if I came late, I must find space in front. So please, please, please kindly move forward. We know there are a lot of spaces. I know that some spaces are reserved. The first 2 spaces are reserved. So you can sit, the first 2 spaces in the middle row or column here is reserved. So you can move left, right. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you once again. All right, have we all settled in? Now, as much as I introduced and I told you that we're having an online, we're going to be having online and physical sessions, I'd like to also appreciate all joining online from across the world. Thank you for taking time out to be intentional about your lives, and thank you for joining and being open to learning things that would improve your career and your business. Now, the first part of the moment of truth is here, finding your purpose in career and business. And this is the panel session where we'll be dissecting key things that you need to position yourselves, in your career to be top leaders in your industries and also to better position your business. And we have incredible, amazing speakers who have, in their busy schedule, decided to be with us today. And I'll be calling one after the other to come on stage. And we are doing this together. So I need the resounding applause. I need the woo, 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 because you are going to have notes filled. If you're using your, what do they call it? Your iPad, your notepad, any type of your phone, is going to be full. And so please, I need that excitement from you, because the more excited you are, the more your mind is open to absorb and assimilate all the nuggets that would be shared here. So please, before I begin to call all our speakers on stage, I need you to give them a resounding round of applause for clearing their schedule to come and bless our lives, because it's a blessing. This is a free event. These are nuggets that you have to pay thousands for. So they are here willingly to share these with us. Now, the first person I'll be calling up is Mrs. Adeyemi Desalu. A round of applause as she comes up. Please, I need the applause to keep going. I'm not hearing any woo! What's going on? All right, Mrs. Adeyemi Desalu is the Director of Marketing and Corporate Communication at Boa Foods PLC, bringing over 17 years of experience in brand management, stakeholder management, and marketing communications. Before joining Boa Foods, she advanced to Business Director at Inside Publicis, managing consumer-led campaigns and driving business growth. Her extensive industry knowledge spans FMCG, oil and gas, telecommunications, amongst others. Mrs. Adeyemi has led marketing efforts for global brands such as Samsung, Nestle, Heineken, and many others. A round of applause. I'm expecting, it's not easy to have, particularly as a woman, to have steered these many campaigns. She's known for her leadership, mentorship, and creative marketing expertise, and has successfully helped multinationals grow their businesses across Africa. Forward-thinking professionals and entrepreneurs. With another round of applause, let's welcome Mrs. Adeyemi Desalu. To our next speaker, Dr. Oluyemi Adeosun. Another resounding round of applause. Dr. Oluyemi Adeosun is a top-performing human resource executive and researcher with over 21 years of experience across industries like power, oil and gas, telecommunications, and academia. Currently a research fellow at Lagos Business School, Dr. Adeosun has held key HR roles and companies such as Eterna PLC, Global Accelerex Holdings, and Ikeja Electric. He specializes in training and development, organizational strategy, and change management. Dr. Adeosun holds an MBA from Obafemi Awolowo University, an MSc in economics from the University of Lagos, and a BSc in economics from the University of Ilorin, the better by far institution. A member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management and distinguished Toastmaster. He also runs a YouTube channel on HR and career development with over 4,500 followers. So finally, forward-thinking professionals and entrepreneurs, let's extend a warm welcome once again. And thank you to those who are giving me the whistling sound. Thank you. Now we have Mrs. Bolanle Onime. A round of applause, please. Mrs. Bolanle Onime is an HR lead at Leadway Penshaw PFA. He's a seasoned human resource professional with extensive experience across industries such as investment banking, insurance, IT, and many more. She holds a bachelor's degree in English from Obafemi Awolowo University and a master's degree in industrial and labor relations from University of Lagos. She brings a robust educational background to her role. Mrs. Onime is a full member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, Institute of Training and Development, and a fellow of the Institute of Management Consultant. She specializes in strategic HR management, learning and development, and performance management. She's currently pursuing an MBA at the Road Business School, Nigeria, and she is known for driving impactful HR initiatives that align with organizational objectives. So, forward-thinking professionals, let's give her once again a warm, resounding applause. We also have with us Mr. Foluwasho Adebobuyi. A round of applause, please. He's the COO at Groundwater and Geophysical Services Limited, and he's an earth scientist and certified professional counselor with over 2 decades of experience. He holds a diploma in professional counseling from Attitude Development International and is an executive member of the African Network of Professional Counselors. Building on his passion for family, marriage, and parenting, he has spent over 20 years leading small groups, helping individuals, couples, and families build healthy relationships and navigate life challenges. With a certificate in leadership from Daystar Leadership Academy, he integrates his faith, love for learning, and expertise in his counseling practice. Forward-thinking professionals, please, with a warm round of applause, let's welcome Mr. Foluwasho Adebobuyi. You can see me flipping pages and flipping pages. So last but not the least, Mrs. Opeoluwa Adeyemi. Please a warm round of applause. She's a managing director, CEO of Lyari Resources Limited, a thriving food company in Nigeria. With over 16 years of experience in franchise business and consultation, she previously managed Adwin Nigeria Limited, a leading quick service restaurant franchise. She holds a BSc in Botany and Microbiology from the University of Ibadan, an MSc in Management and Information Systems from the University of Manchester. She began her career in banking with Royal Bank of Scotland and Sterling Bank before venturing into hospitality industry. Mrs. Adeyemi's strategic insights and hands-off approach have driven her company's success. Forward-thinking professionals and entrepreneurs, let's welcome our final speaker, Mrs. Opeoluwa Adeyemi, and of course, our very own team lead at DCDP. I wouldn't say a whole lot because I know how it is. So please, let's also welcome Mr. Lanre Basamta. Okay, so he will be steering the conversations with the panelists, and just know that you're going to have a great time. Enjoy. A round of applause for yourselves.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I was going to ask that I get a chair, but I mean, I'm happy to find a place for myself. Yes, I mean, I'm sitting by faith. Can I move this? Okay, thank you again, everyone, for being here. They are the, not just that they are our guests, they are the experts, and really we're here to listen to them. I'm going to say something before I start. Quite earlier in my career, I used to do some bit of event anchoring. And so when an MC or an event anchor loses their train of thought, how they cover it to guys to say, just give yourselves a round of applause. So help me, give yourselves a round of applause. I need to adjust. Thank you. All right, it's such a thrill to be here. I didn't know we're going to have the full cast, and I'm thrilled for us to have an interesting conversation. I'm struggling in my mind with how we're going to manage about 60 minutes. So my hope is that your responses will be kept brief, between 2 to 3 minutes, somewhat, and then we can have as much of a conversation as possible. So I'm going to start with the lady, of course, Adeyemi, if I can call you that. Yeah, so it's good to have you. Today we're talking to a diverse audience, both in the room and online. And we're talking about finding purpose. One of the biggest trend that we're seeing is the trend of changing careers right in the middle. Today, we're going to have a substantial part of our audience, both online and offline, grappling and asking questions about what they need to do, how they should adapt. My question is, for somebody who's worked 7 to 10 years and struggling with purpose, maybe because they are not well paid, maybe because they're not having fun, maybe because they have a boss who is as unfriendly as I possibly am, how will they deal with the question of purpose and also thriving in the workplace? What's your thoughts? I start with you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that question. I know I'm a Christian.
Please.
Let me just, so everything I do is rooted in God. And I'll just like to share a bit of my own story.
That's right.
Because finding purpose for me required me going back to my maker. Essentially, he made me. So he has the manual, for how I'm to journey in life. So early on, just before I finished, because I studied biochemistry, and before I finished school, uni, it was very clear that biochemistry wasn't for me. So I went to God and just prayed and asked that the Lord would direct me. And, then I read a book by Kenneth Hagin, where it's on Bible prayer principles, how to pray effectively. One of the things I learned was to be specific in the place of prayer. Unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity of having career guidance. So I went to meet God and essentially had a vision of what I thought I would enjoy, as an individual. So I described it to God. I said, Lord, look, biochemistry is not for me. It's not working. I'm not sure what's out there. I don't understand all the roles out there, but I want a job that I'll enjoy doing, because I saw a lot of people were just working to make ends meet. They weren't necessarily enjoying what they were doing. And it can be quite frustrating, to be honest. So I knew it was important for me to enjoy what I do. So I told God I wanted something that would be fun, something that, would have loads of travel opportunities, something that would cause me to meet people, because this was rooted in my personality, if you get what I'm saying. And God came through for me. Fast forward to after youth service. I finished youth service, didn't have, I'd saved up, but I knew back in the day you needed to go to the national dailies to know what listings were available vacancy-wise. We didn't have social media and the web wasn't that prevalent then. So I came back and I asked the Holy Spirit, again, back to always going back to God. That's the only way I know how to discover purpose. And I said, Holy Spirit, cannot afford to buy newspapers every day, because then all my savings will be used up. What do I do? And he said, go to the library. Okay. So I went to the library, and delightfully, I found out that they stock the newspapers every day. So that just saved me a whole lot. So every day I went to the library, I came across this management traineeship program and applied for it. Out of about 5,000 people, I think I was one of the 10 that made it through. And that's how my journey started. So to your question around finding purpose, just go back to your maker. Really. That's the only way I know how to. I feel like your maker can help you and lead you and guide you into the right path.
Thank you so very much.
Yes.
A round of applause for her, please. You have to encourage me and them. Oh. That's why I like select people. You don't need to encourage them to clap. But you guys, all right. Now that's fantastic because I checked your profile and I realized, you've worked for about 17 years. Now, the fact of the matter is that 17 years ago, the president was Olusegun Obasanjo. That was the most prosperous year in my own adult life in Nigeria. So 17 years ago, Nigeria was amazing. Nigeria, led by Olusegun Obasanjo, is a completely different environment from Nigeria led by. So the question is, in these desperate times, and I'm going to come to you, Bolanle, in these desperate times, how do young professionals balance the desperation for survival? I was just sharing with a group of my friends one message that I saw from Bishop David Oyedepo, where he was saying that there's nothing to be gained in doing nothing. Cram that in my head right now. In these desperate times, when before we used to be lazy when we finish NYSC, now if you are lazy, nobody even need to encourage you. They don't tell blind people that rain is falling. So how do we balance the desperate need for survival with finding purpose and going to the library? Those kind of stuff that, Adeyemi could have done 17 years ago and it was amazing. How do these young people, how do they find the path of hope?
Okay, so good morning, everyone. Let me say a bit about myself as well.
Thank you.
I grew up in Ikorodu, actually. And when I finished school, when I finished secondary school, I lived in the GRA and we were quite many. So, issues like, oh, you said this, you said that, age group, quarrel here and every day. I told my father, I said, I don't think I want to do this. I just want to sit at home every day, pending when JAMB result comes out and you go to school. Get me a job. I wasn't feeding anyone. I didn't need the money, but I just wanted to do something for myself. I just wanted to be useful. I didn't want to be at home and when the rain is falling, they expect someone that would pick the clothes. I just didn't want to be there. I didn't want to play that role. And he got the job for me. I didn't need it. Yes, the money comes. I can't remember what I did with the money. But guess what? That was where the trajectory of my life and career was formed. Because where I was doing that job, I met with some youth corps members that actually channeled what I was when I got into an institution and who and what I am today. Wow. Because I met them, I interacted with them. Fortunately enough for me, the Coppers Lodge was in the GRA where I grew up. So we go in the morning together, come back in the evening together, and I was interacting with them. Right from, you know how they say it. My notebook, I had one, I wrote OAU first choice, OAU second choice. You know how it used to be that day, whether it was going to be possible or not, I didn't care. But my mind was focused. Why? Because of the interaction I had with them. Some of them were members of ISEC. They told me about ISEC. They gave me ISEC t-shirts. And I got into IFE. I got ISEC admission letter before IFE admission letter. Why? Because my mind was made up. And whatever I do today, that's what has formed it, right from, I think that was 96. Now, going to career, going to purpose, going to who or what you make yourself of yourself. There's something I say. Whatever makes me to wake up in the morning and go to work, I won't fool myself. It's because I need that money. That's the first thing. So it's either of two things. I need the money. If I don't need the money, I want to make impact. If I don't want to make impact, I want to be relevant. Either of the three. And I think that's the focus. That's the first thing we should do. So yes, I go to work. I'm an HR practitioner, and I think I'm also one of the very lucky few that knows what to do from the beginning, and that's where they are, and they're enjoying it, irrespective of the challenges. I started HR admin right from day one. Even before NYSC, I had opportunity of internship, did it for 1 year, finished. I tried marketing for 1 year. I was lucky through I said connection. I did it successfully for 1 year, but I ran back. And right from then, it's been HR admin, and I thank God. That's over 20 years now. Wow. But then, how has it been? Despite all challenges, there's this talent review stuff we're doing in the office, and when they asked what would you do, I said HR, yes, that's what I currently do. What next? Maybe business transformation, that's strategy. And what else? Maybe marketing. And why would I say marketing? Networking, you know people from doing stuff like this, you know how to talk to people. You get what is the essence of something and you sell that essence to people. So that's what I feel. Okay, so yeah, once I understand what I believe in something, I should be able to convince you to believe in what I believe in. And once I'm able to convince you, then we get the same value out of it. And you should be able to pay for value. If you don't pay for it, you don't understand what value it is and you waste it. That's the way I see markets. And I don't know. So maybe when I speak with Naomi, she can tell me otherwise. But that's what I've done that has worked, you know. So because we can't run away from realities, we need the money. That's the truth. That's on the one hand. But then for opportunities like this, you can do what you love on the other hand.
Okay.
And that can be your side hustle. Now we talk about gig economy. Now we talk about doing something else by the side. What else do you love to do? What time can you have? We have a lot of people in the workplaces that they also have side businesses. We have people that are tailors. It's a side hustle for them. We have people that, yeah, maybe they have other things they do. So now it's not a time of sleeping and waking up all the time. We had to work with some documents overnight. IREAL they worked on it, and by this morning, Naomi had come up with another version of it. What do you think that is? Some people are working, they do project work for others, they do research work. So whatever you love, you can do it by the side, if that is not what you're doing to make money. So now it's an information time, it's opportunities are out there. There is no limitation. That's what I would say. There is no limitation. You don't waste your time. So what you need to do now is plan yourself properly, look for opportunities, and you can actually have both, the best of both worlds.
Thank you so very much. A round of applause for her. You see the select case I made just now. Fine. In select, I wouldn't have told them. After, they just go. But you guys, anyways, we'll manage that. I was going to go to the gentleman, but I think we should do the ladies first. What do you think? Okay, so we'll go to Olua, Mrs. Adeyemi. And you've run a business for, I think, 16 years. That's massive. I mean, and I keep talking about the economy because I started running a business this year. And it's just been 6 months. This is the first time I realized that my lips were slicker when I was just in career because I used to consult for all these business people. And I was always telling them, if you do, there are 3 ways to make profit. And so for career people who want to run business by the side, like Bola is saying, or who are at the legacy stage of their career, they've worked 20 years, 30 years, they're contemplating retirement. What are the top 3 things you want them to have in mind to run a successful enterprise?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I don't need to say anymore. We know the economy we're in right now. The first thing is a lean startup, and we're thankful for the times we're in now. You know, internet, the social media is working very much. So it's not a time to invest. I'd made that mistake so many times. You know, there were one of few shops that I opened, and I literally put everything into it. Excitement that pushes us to do so many things. You start, you have an idea, and you get a place, and you just think, oh, let's start, and you run into it, put all your money into it before you start observing. There's a particular shop that I opened. We put so much into it, so much. And it was only when we opened a few months into it that I realized how obscure the location was. So it became a problem for me. I started struggling because I noticed that people couldn't even see me. But the few that would come would tell me, oh, you have very lovely products. Some will come in and say, oh, we were there for about 3-4 years before I finally agreed to what the Holy Spirit was telling me, that it was time to count my losses and move, because we have to get to that point of sometimes. So it became a problem. Now, the first thing I would say is what Naomi said in the beginning, please pray about it. Ask the Holy Spirit. You know, the Bible said he leads us in all truth. He tells us the very mind of God. So tell the Holy Spirit what exactly you want. Be discreet. Be very point. Describe to the details what you want. What are you known for? In entrepreneurship, most times it's not just something you wake up and go into. You don't just say, oh, I have a friend that brings in wigs. She's doing very well. I think I should also do it. Somebody is selling food. I should also do it. No, you have to actually make your own self-evaluation. You have to find where your strength is, what you're good at, and what you think will keep you driving. So like you said, it's 6 months and it's already been something. But, you know, he's in something that is pushing him. He has something pushing him. And there has to be something, like the second speaker said, every morning when you wake up to take on that task, there has to be something pushing you to go ahead with it. So first of all, please start lean. Think of every other option before you put in all the money that you have saved into it. I've heard so many sad stories of people starting farming and it all went down because of one problem or the other. People like me that opened a shop, it was obscure. And, before you know it, the rent was even so much more than you could even think of attaining an income. So start lean. How can I make this business? How can I optimize all that I have without putting in all my savings? Use every other avenue, And then secondly, have a definition. Many people start business and you hear, perhaps I'm into the food industry, or I sell food. And when someone else comes in and say, oh, do you do small? I can do that too. Yes, I can do that too. It makes you burn out so easily. Decide what you want. I run restaurants and I have bakeries. This is my core passion. And I've had people severally come and meet me, you must do small chops. Your food is too, you must. I don't do it. I don't. I've opened several restaurants. They're doing well. I'm happy for it. That's my strength. I don't want to go into small chops. I don't want to go into supply of XYZ. You must have your definition. Yoruba will say, Gbogbo does not work with business. Please decide what you want and go for it. Be focused. And then when you're going into it, please, you said 3, so I'm going to weigh what I'm going to go into now. I'd say documentation and accountability. Be accountable. Don't start your business on the understanding of is my business, is my money. You have to be accountable. You have to be able to evaluate your business from the very first day. How much did I put in? How much did I get out? It helps you. It drives you. It gives you a focus of where you're going to and how you could get better day by day.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank you. My job is to listen and ask the mind intriguing questions. Unfortunately, I was listening for myself because when she talked about some people putting money in farms, I remembered when I invested about 8 million naira in farm. It was fish farming. And the guys that were stealing my fish, they were not even taking one by one. They were using bath to steal the fish. I planted bananas, and before I even traveled from here to the farm, they were. You were clapping? Nigerians. And so I was just hearing myself in some of the stuff she was saying, and it felt like it was personal. Yeah. So let's go to Dr. Oluyemi. It's good to have you. And I'm impressed by your height, eh? I am. I looked through your profile, and the question that racks in my brain is the question of performance. Now, a lot of the time, Christians wrap inefficiencies in righteousness. How many of us got here on time? It's like they'll be claiming like they didn't know this event was supposed to start for 9. But he's God. All things work together for good. Like they didn't know that from their house to this place is 1. We are like that, and that church, but some of the most sloppy people, some of the most inefficient, inexcellent, and some of the worst people are the best church people. And I'm wondering, how do we inspire a new generation of professionals? You've gone through different workplaces, you've gathered a lot of experience, you are working in research. I heard when you were introduced, you're a research fellow. I'm concerned about how we raise a new generation of professionals who will really hold the banner of Christ high in the workplace, who they will walk and set the right example that inspire not just others, but also the workplace to recognize that, oh, these are a new generation of guys, and they're doing this because they have their affiliation with Christ. What do you think?
So thank you so much for that question. First and foremost, I would like to say that grace delivers excellence. Now, there's one particular scripture that we should be familiar with, and it's the, Daniel and his guys. They were what? 10 times better. So it is that level of proficiency that we identify and link with grace. Look, the reality is that you are either a hotcake or unwanted. Look, if your competence must be like my height.
A round of applause for that.
Now, if there are Igbos in this auditorium and we all stand up and we say who is the tallest, everybody will point at me. If there are people here who are Shekiris and we ask who is the tallest, they will point at me. Once you are not at that level of performance, it means you are operating at the level of average. People discriminate against average people, not excellent people. So you have to always sharpen your knife. You know, when you buy a knife newly, it typically will come sharpened, but 6 months down the line, things change. That is why you must embrace continuous learning. For example, as Christians, we come to church Sundays, midweek, sometimes vigil, is because we need to always sharpen our spirituality. Read your Bible, pray every day. We eat 2-3 times daily. What are you doing to feed your professionalism? It should be daily, not occasionally. Now, there are different sources. So, for example, YouTube is there. A lot of free, abundant resources. This kind of program we're having right now. Then you may need to go to the 4 walls of a tertiary institution. Okay, you may need to work with a line manager, a colleague. I also like to say that when we embrace continuous learning, it will not always be through a place of convenience. I know people, the only reason they have not started a program is not just money. They are thinking, oh, my 2 children. They are thinking, how will I combine with work? Every program I started, it was not feasible when I started it. I ran a PhD program full-time. I never left job one day. Are we together? So you must be able to enter into new spaces and then enter blindly, but you begin to learn aggressively. Some of us want to attain greatness knowing the way or the way. I saw a scripture just this morning. What did God tell Abraham, the father of faith? He said, leave your father's house.
So a place I will show you.
Where?
So a place I will show you.
In this our career, yes, I hear purpose, I'm sure of purpose, but that purpose, you won't know the end from the beginning. The first part of the purpose is come out where you did. I rest my case.
Thank you so very, 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 very much. Okay, the spirit is well done, my people. Okay, so I go to Mr. Foluwasho, and I'm going to ask a soft question that has a big impact: mental health, emotional intelligence. And I ask that because aside from this generation that they call Generation Z, right? Because everything is mental health. They come late. You say, why? You say it's mental health. You know, they say, so you can't even tell them. You can't give them feedback. When you are sending me, even to give them query, you'll be telling them, but you have to beg them to sack them. But I'm more concerned about the growing awareness about mental health and the need not just for young people to accept themselves, but the need for much older supervisors, managers, leaders to be emotionally intelligent, to be adaptable. What is the place of mental health in the new workplace? How does our awareness of our mental health, how can it make us better professionals? More importantly, as leaders, supervisors, managers, how is our emotional maturity and intelligence? How can it help us raise more efficient, more prosperous, more effective teams?
Thank you very much. Like you said, seems like a simple question, but then it has a lot of impact, right? I'll start from being self-aware for every individual, because the idea of mental health cuts across everything that we do. It's the way you are, that's how you reflect on everything that you do. As a staff, business owner, husband, wife, child, whatever. And so it starts from being self-aware, yourself, to know who am I, what am I wiring and all. I understand that we're going to be having a session on personality sometimes during this workshop today, which is fantastic. Because if you do not know who you are as a person, it will be difficult for you to lead others. Because then you don't understand even how you are reflecting on the people that you are working with. And I will also talk about the need for growth. Doc said something about that, the need for us to constantly be improving on ourselves. If you don't do that, you are going to be stagnant. And anything that is stagnant begins to smell, right? And so you don't want to be in that space where we have told you 10 years ago that you always lose your temper easily. And it's 10 years down the line, you're still the same. Meaning that you have not gone on the journey of self-awareness to see what this feedback you are getting, what is it saying about you? And to sit down with yourself, because one thing that it's not common in this part is that sitting down with self. To do the work of, I always talk about it from the mirror window idea. Meaning that when something happens to me, I'd rather look out the window. It's my boss, it's the company, it's the economy. But that job of standing in front of a mirror to say that, follow, sure this thing that has happened, what is your role, what is your part in it? It's difficult. And most of us run away from it, but you can't grow without that. So I'll just, say those two things, self-awareness and then growth. For you to understand yourself, figure out what your strengths are, figure out the areas where you are lacking, and learn how to manage, because there is none of us that does not have both strengths and weaknesses. The challenge is that a whole lot of us, we project our weaknesses more. So people that we admire, people that we love, and that we hold up as our role models, what they have been able to do is that they are able to project more of their strengths while they are managing their weaknesses. That's what I would say.
I'm going to come to you, Bolanle, and I'm concerned about, maybe concern is not the word, but there's an emerging trend of young Nigerian professionals japaing. I hear the new trend is japadaing, but whether they are japaing or japadaing, the big drama is that for many of us, our professional skills and capabilities are not transferable to other clients. And so you find a Nigerian who has worked for 7 years in something in Nigeria, and then he goes abroad and they start sweeping. And that is not bad to start with. But even though they found purpose in Nigeria, when the code and the reality of Europe, the next purpose is survival. And so for me, is how do we help, particularly those online and those who are here, those who have aspirations. Nigerians, they don't tell themselves when they're about to travel. I hear they don't even tell their parents anymore. When they just call their parents, they say, mommy, he's from London, I'm calling you. And then the mom will never get angry because it's pounds and prayers. So how do we prepare for a global workforce to make our skills globally ready? And even when we don't have, how do we adapt to a reality that is staring us in the face?
Okay.
I would like us to do 2 minutes or 2.5 minutes, because now I want us to take about 10, 15 minutes and we'll go to the participants and take some questions. Yeah.
Okay, so this Japa trend is not it's more of a global thing on the one aspect, and it's also as a result of the economy here in Nigeria, insecurity, and a whole lot of other things. I was listening to a popular artist and said the reason why he left the country was because he had several incidences of armed robbery because of people's perception of him that he has the money. And anytime there's something and he's out there on social media that night, they will come rob him. So he didn't have a choice but to leave the country. So that's on the one hand. And another thing is for those who have career here and they leave, yes, some start projecting themselves and start planning while here, especially in my own line of profession. Some are in Nigeria, they have GPHR, they have CPHR, that's for Canada, they have SHREM, they have all that, all the HIs, everything.
Okay.
So they can be global people when they leave. And also, CIPM here is partnering with CIPD and the likes. So when you travel, you can easily convert. So it's just 1 or 2 tests and they can flow and get into the climb there. But another thing that is really helping them to also stay is when they say dignity in labor. There, you can be a driver and you earn well.
Yeah.
You can be a security person and nobody's looking at the other because you don't even have each other's time. But you can imagine you hearing now that you are the guard in this place, even from your salary self, it's a problem. But over there, it's the same measure of hourly pay, but just depends on how many hours you can put into the work. Then your level of professionalism or expertise would also rate your hourly, we raise your hourly rates. So that helps. But for anyone here and you want to go there, the best bet is, there's something my pastor says. It's not all of us that are called. I keep saying, I don't know at what point I can confirm whether I'm called to go, but right now I am not called. That's the truth. There was a day, I don't know what I was telling my son, my last child, and he was saying something. My husband said, "Oh, no wonder God, I've not heard God say, go. Because if I carry you with this mentality there, you will call the police on me." You know, that kind of thing. So I've not heard that calling.
Okay.
So I'm comfortable with, yes, I think maybe the foreign degree I have, maybe it's just by happenstance. Then, but now I'm not even gunning for anyone because all I keep praying is what I do here and what my husband does, God should continue to bless us.
Yeah.
And I will always also pray that I will not have any cost to run out of this country. Those are the two prayers I pray.
Yeah.
Though I'm not one of those that will say Nigeria will not happen to us. No, let's keep praying for Nigeria. That's what most people say, but no, Nigeria will be blessed. We'll bless the land and we too will eat of it.
Amen.
Thereof,
Amen.
So if you, for some, yeah, you see secondary schools here, they will tell you, oh, do British, do integrated, do international. So you want to go and study abroad, you can start from that if that is your dream. And for some, there are exams that you can do, even from your different career path, if you know you want to go there. So by the time you get there, it's easier. And for some, while they take the lower jobs, my younger brother is in the UK, born here, he's a UK citizen. But when he got there, he had his master's before he left Nigeria. Okay, no, he had his first degree, went there for his master's, kept going in and out. But what he did was he looked at what aspects of the economy in the UK would work well for him. And he defied all odds. As you said, the pounds, he defied the code and everything, became a professional there. He earned all the degrees he needed. He honed his skills while being a security guard. He would stay at one end. You know how? Count your steps, back there, clock, come back here, clock, from night till morning.
Yeah.
But he weathered the storm.
Mm.
Now he's comfortable, he's good, but he paid the price. So that's another, maybe it also helped because he didn't really have a responsibility back home. So nobody was dragging his pounds with him. Exactly. So, but then he got there, he had his vision, he had his purpose, he knew what he wanted, and he went for it. So if you also get there, it's not for us to start running around and trying to look for shortcuts. It's a lot of work. Unfortunately, the work we don't want to put in here, we're willing to put it out there.
Yeah.
That's the unfortunate thing. But then maybe, I don't know, they have more structure there and the reward work more here. It takes grace of God, that tenacity, and also the self-belief and the strength in yourself. So once you get there, find out what works, what would be the path towards achieving what you want, and go for it. That's the advice I would give.
Thank you so very much. Quick. Adeyemi, I'm going to come to you and I'm just going to ask one half of the question to you, the second half to Ms. Adeyemi. And the question is, how do you deal with an impossible boss? Just last week, Saturday, I was on radio and I was sharing the story of, I had a boss who, for 6 years, I closed at 11 p.m. That wasn't a problem. Okay. The real problem was on one of those days, I had such a tough time that I said that after I was done in the office, I was planning to go and have an accident. I was planning it. Because if I really have an accident, then I won't have to come to the office. See, foolishness. The devil is such a terrible. I don't even know if it's the devil or me, Sha, because every time we lie on the devil, like you're saying. But I was planning that if I was going on Third Mainland, I'll just jam my car like this. But I don't want to die. So if I just jam the car and then my car spoils and then I go to, because I'm not wired to bend the truth. So the only way I can really not come to the office is if I really had an accident. And he's such an inspiring guy today for me. But I'm saying that if we're in the workplaces, before very early in my career, I just got pissed one day and I resigned. No unwise person should be like me. Because in Tinubu, if you just resign foolishly, body will tell you. But I could do that many years ago. Now, many of us have to live with impossible bosses because the economy will not allow us to be childish and resign. How do we deal? And in the same breath, Ms. Adeyemi, so I'm just going to pass the mic when you are done to her, is How do we deal with impossible downlines? They are impossible, sloppy, trouty, bad-mannered, and they have no air of professionalism. In this day of work from home, they'll be watching Netflix instead of working. They will say it's mental health. They will say it's harassment. Everything is a problem. So how do we deal with them in this new workplace? So I go to you first, and then I come back to you.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I'd say number one, focus on results. Okay, be someone who strives for results on time, on target, and to standard. You know, because results shield you from insults. Do you get what I'm saying? So if you're working with an impossible boss, one of the things you would have to deal with if you don't know your onions is that you get insulted quite often.
That's true.
You know, so focus on results so that anything you do will not be faulted. Do you get? Number two is understand that, you know, oftentimes, you know, people are going through diverse things, you know, and as difficult as a boss might be, they have, permit me to use the word, they are mumu button. So you need to study them, see what works for them, find a way. You need to find that soft spot, you know, that you can press to help soften and ease the rapport. Do you understand? Because at the end of the day, you're stuck with this person till perhaps you get the next gig. So wisdom is profitable to direct. You need to find a way to work with this person. Well, if you're someone who delivers, you know, I think it will be a lot easier to deal with a difficult person.
God bless you. And I completely agree, because just as much as I said, that boss that everybody thinks is impossible is one of my best mentors today. And I tell people when they talk about their best boss, people usually talk about the boss that cuddles them. You know, every time they say, oh, this boss was kind to me, my best boss was the least kind. He was unkind. But it was amazing for my career. And just being able to connect with him on an emotional levels absolutely turned my career around. God bless you. A round of applause for her. Miss Adeyemi.
Right. Okay. So as an employer, what I'd say is learn to play your cards to determine the tempo. These days, we're having a lot of people working from home, virtual working. You mentioned something about the reward system. We have to learn to use our reward system wisely. And in actual fact, work on our reward system. In Nigeria, unfortunately, it's not the best. But in your business, one of the things you could look to do is to work with your reward system. Reward those that are actually, you can see them working. Reward them optimally and let them be able to influence. You know, it's just a matter of time. When you see someone rewarding you over and over, or rewarding your colleagues over and over, you will also check yourself and actually look to do something differently. And then as an employer, I also think that you should spend a lot on training. We don't do that as well, you know, especially in businesses. You know, that's another thing. Business owners think that it's all about just going out there to get money. You have to put in something to get something. So if you see there's a skill that is lacking in your staff, take some time out, train them. They probably do not even know it. The youth we have these days don't know so many things. Let's be realistic, because they weren't as well grounded as we were. So it's now your prerogative, if you want that much from your business, to ensure that you're also putting as much into your employee. So as business owner, as I have seen personally, that many businesses do not put anything at all. Only maybe when I was working as when I was running my business as a franchise owner, I had the franchisor come in from time to time, and maybe that's where I get my own difference from, because I had the opportunity and the grace to be trained as a business owner from a franchisor point of view. So I had someone hold my hand, take me through that journey. Perhaps if I had started by myself, I'll be making many mistakes like many business owners are making now. But I see what they did, and I'm using it now, incorporating it into my business to make my business work better than many businesses around me. So putting more into the staff you have, train them, call them in for trainings, and also work on your reward system. You can actually play with their minds. It depends on how you play your cards.
I think she ministers to me every time she talks, because I've not been training to. It's unfortunate because we are desperate as business people. I promise you, I've even canceled the monthly dinners with my wife because I'm so desperate as a business person. I'm telling you, you don't have not known this much pressure. I've worked for 20 years. And after 20 years, I was just posting. My mouth is always sharp. Is it not English? Now, as a business, this thing that she's saying. Anyway, God will help. Stay in your job. Oh. Come to you, doctor. And my question, and I have just 5 minutes before we take questions from you. So if you have questions, particularly for those online, I hope you're having as much fun learning and engaging as we are. If there are questions, I'll ask you to please start dropping your questions on the chat room. Somebody's helping coordinate those questions so I can get those questions here and we discuss them. And for those in the room, if you've got questions, if you can articulate them down, I'm going to recognize a few of the questions. And the next 15, 20 minutes, we're going to take them. I'll come to Dr. and then Mr. Foluwasho. Doctor, I'm concerned about how you amplify and toot your own. In the workplace, aside from God, your biggest fan should be yourself. Okay. But many people wonder if that is not bomb. I can't use that word. If that is not, what's the kindest word to use? When you are trying to play politics. But the truth is, besides being a functionally competent person, you need to know how to be visible, how to take right and responsibility for your actions, how to let the office and those that matter see the work that you do. So how do you balance being seen, being strategic about career growth without you compromising and being political and being everybody's lapdog? And I'm sorry to use that if you feel offended. How do we balance this? Because many people don't know. I mean, the worst experience I'm seeing is Nigerians that go abroad and they say, the only thing I want to do is to work and go home. How do you do that? And you just work and go home. I mean, at the end of the day, it's people that determines your professional aspirations. So how can we balance being good at our work with being seen for who we are and what we do? So that when discussions around performance, promotions, and reward are being discussed, you're not a forgotten item. How do we do that?
So the first thing I like to say is that you must have substance. You see, being visible and packaging is not the same thing. When you package and you don't have substance, you are going to be a colossal, irreversible failure. So you must be super good. When you are super good, what happens is that you will be getting visibility without you being the chief promoter. For example, this is a session. You can handle this session and you never get called again. And you can handle this session and 8 invitations will come from it. So it's not just because you got a seat here. What did you say? Whose life was transformed? That's the very first thing I need you to understand. You must be super good. The second thing I'll say quickly is, if you are in any professional association, so for example, you're an engineer, Nigerian Society of Engineers, you are a doctor, you are a pharmacist, you have to be active. For example, I've known her forever because of how active she is in, for example, CIPM. I will still ask her how she's coping. She's almost at the center and out of everything. You see, the people who are at the forefront are the people who get noticed, and they are the people who get invitation. So you must be a player. Don't be a spectator in your own space. Now, having said that about your professional space, in your office, do your job well, which is part of the substance. But beyond that, you can't mind your business. People who mind their business don't get to the top. The people at the top, everybody's business is their business. So
true.
while you are doing your job, you must be on the lookout for who is struggling, who can you help. There are some organizational projects that fall into miscellaneous. Volunteer. Maybe they want to organize end of year Christmas party, volunteer. They want to do something for charity, volunteer. Once they ask for volunteer, don't think about it. Don't blink. Show your hand. Once you are always willing to help, you will get noticed. For example, go and meet your line manager, say Friday, and say, do you have any work I can do for you this weekend? I may be able to carve out 3 hours for you. Now, I also need to say here that being visible is not the same as eye service. So don't say because you want to be visible, you begin to prowl into people's personal business. But if you are invited, for a bad day, for example. One, show up, but don't just show up. 1 week to the bad day, say, madam, your bad day is on. Can I help you, sir? 50% of the time they will say no, but they will never forget that you ask. And when they ask you to serve, serve and serve as if your calling is a service boy. Let people say, who is that boy serving? Say, it's my colleague that works. Say, are you for you? Because the parties, eating at the party is not the main thing. Making the party a great event is the main thing. So you must be very good at that. Then be a little personal. What do I mean? Especially in this part of the world. Don't do this abroad. So if you know people are married, have children, ask, oh, hi, is Tolu Animi. Mention the names. People notice those kind of things. So show that you care about them. Don't just, if, for example, you notice that somebody is frowning, look for an appropriate way to say, oh, what's the issue? How can I be of help? Provide solution and provide support. Now, let me now say this. You already alluded to it in his question. It's a good question. Yeah, it provides answers in this question. You see, there are things they do at work. For example, maybe TGIF. Some of us, it's 5 o'clock, we've carried our bag. Miracles happen in TGIF.
That's true.
I remember when I was in an oil and gas servicing firm. So there was one day, because it was very far to where I live. So I always wanted to get out of the office at 4:30. Thank God, I joined them for this TGIF. I don't drink. Half of the people there were drinking. So after like 1 hour, the information they were dropping, in 2 years at work, I would not have dropped. That day, I blessed alcohol. I was not the partaker. You know how people losing up and they'll be jaboy. You understand? I don't know the English for that. So you need to be intentional. So there are certain programs. It can be organizational programs. It can be programs from your society. Let me now say this, and it's very important. You are in an industry. You must become an industry player. Now, there are two sides to the industry.
Yeah.
So, for example, I'm an HR person working with Lagos Business School. I have two industries. HR is an industry. I'm there. Business school is an industry. So if you are in manufacturing and you are an accountant, you are in two industries. ICANN and CFA must know you. The Manufacturing Association of Nigeria must know you. Go pay your dues, attend their meetings, volunteer, even if it is to be usher in their programs. Please show up. And when you show very early and stay very late. They ask Paul Getty, and this is my final point. Say, how do you become rich? Say two things. Wake up early, stay up late, die there. Thank you.
A round of applause. I have a lot of thoughts, a lot of anecdotes, but I can't share because I'm just coordinating. My last question to Brother Foluasho, and I'm asking you the soft question because I see you're a professional counselor. And I feel like when we've shared all the principles and taught all the processes, it's the soft issues that makes the difference. How do you bounce back from a career failure or from a wrong career move? And I say that because I have a few interesting tales. Myself, how do you get back on track? I mean, somebody was telling me that she was so pissed that if she was in the office, she would have fought. I mean, we're just, and I'm like, imagine you get so angry and you fight in the office and you lose your job. And then professionally, the brand on you is a mighty ego. Okay, or you allow the devil to use you and you steal. Okay, or you really do mess up and your identity is tainted. How do you bounce back? Because I mean, God gave us second chances anyways in our spiritual life. Shouldn't we have second chances in our career? Because some people get it so wrong, so bad, they just go back to the village and then they tell old tales of yesterdays. Their life has not ended, but everything they talk about is something that happened in the past. They have no example of anything. How do we bounce back? Because the truth is, Christians, our greatest identity, which I think is one of our worst burdens, is piety. All of us, you see, as we are all, God rest you. But we deal with issues. And how do we deal with those issues? Looking forward, not always looking back.
Okay, so what I would say is how you see anything is most important. So if I could rewind a little to the question that you asked before about an impossible boss. If you see your impossible boss as a blessing, it changes everything. Why do I say that? There are things inside of you. There are skills, there are attributes that you have that it takes adversity for it to come out. It won't come out any other way. So I worked for 6 years. I studied applied geophysics. The idea at the time was that if you do applied geophysics, you are going into the oil industry and you are going to make a lot of money. But you know how these stories end. I mean, how many opportunities are there? Class of 60 something at the time. And so I ended up in this small business that was doing everything but oil for the course I studied. So they were doing everything else apart from oil. And but because I've looked for a place to do my internship at the time, and I couldn't find. So when I got there, it was like, I finally found somewhere. So I was going to give it my all, and I did. And then I came back, finished my service with them, and they started working. And my boss, I wouldn't call my boss unkind, but he's a taskmaster. And he gives no room for excuses. In fact, my boss, I remember back then, when I was ill and I would go to the clinic, he would call me and say, is this the time to be sick? So, you know, you know that kind of person. But it took running my own business to be grateful for those years. Because there were things that, in fact, I was exposed to everything. I would do accounting work. I'll go defend beats. I was just an applied geophysics. I didn't study, client service and all of that, but I did everything. And so when I pulled out and I was going to start my business, I had an insight into everything. But when I was doing it, it was not funny. I must say that. But so see your impossible, but see whatever situation that you are in, including the question I've been asked. So you failed in something. First, you are not a failure. It's something that has happened and you have failed at it. And I don't think there's any one of us in this room that has not failed before. As simple as taking a wrong turn, as simple as reversing into the wall, whatever it is. But that is not the completion of who you are. And so if you see the event as being you, I failed, so I'm a failure, then there's a problem. But if you see it as something has happened, what can I learn from this incident? What did I do wrong? What happened that was beyond my own abilities and efforts? That is the starting point. How do you see it? And then there must be some form of resilience that you have. And that's why it's important that at every stage of your career, you must have a support system. People that when things like that happen to you, you can go see to it and be vulnerable, and they can help you, because there will be times in all of our lives that we will not have internally the strength to carry on. It might be just in a moment, but then you should have people that you can go see to it. This is what has happened, and they can hold you up in that time that you need them. And you have to remind yourself also that, so on this side of things, if you look at it from the eyes of scripture, on this side of things, as long as you have breath in you, then it's not over on this side of things. So if you wake up in the morning, no matter what the situation is, you have been sacked, there is an issue, whatever it is, when you wake up in the morning, be grateful for that day and remind yourself that the fact that you are alive means that you can still try again.
Thank you so very much. Yeah, so we're going to take questions. I'm going to take maximum 3 questions in the hall. Interestingly, we have a slew of questions from the online guys, so I'm going to quickly read that. But if you have questions, I think one of my colleagues must be passing paper around. Just signify that you have questions. I'll just take 3 questions because of the time constraints that we have. Let me quickly read out a couple of questions here. I'll just read out and then I can ask you to pick. Please, we have just, we're supposed to stop in 10 minutes. I can beg them to steal another 3 out of the 10. Okay, so some questions. The first one says, I'm just saying some. The first one, how does one get past visions of failure? Vision. Like you can't see yourself succeeding in what you've decided to start, even when you have the capacity to be competent in it. I'll just leave you to let the Spirit lead you. For these questions, I can't even dash anybody. The second question, in considering business, can location cause failure or stagnation? I thought we discussed that. Well, I'll leave it for Mr. Adeyemi. That's a question from YouTube. God bless you. Keep it coming. YouTube and Facebook. Another question says, good morning. I work in a financial institution, but I'm getting tired already. We all are tired. says, I want something more. I feel I should resign and go in search of a better offer. Don't resign in this Tinubu economy. Please help us to help them. Next one from Facebook says, quit my job because I got robbed twice. Yes, I think somebody discussed that. I quit my job because I got robbed twice, one chance, and became very traumatized. I'm sorry. And that's where mental health comes in. I'm always scared. So I started doing business, but not in a particular thing, in a different business, because I'm not sure where my strength is yet. Please note that I'm trying these businesses so I can find out my strength. Please advise. Okay, this is particularly sensitive for me. I'd like you to carefully help us address that. From Facebook, we have, how does a young person, or how do young people balance spirituality and career? Be spiritual at home, face career. Do we have questions? I'm going to take those questions in a bit. I hope somebody has helped me aggregate it. So I'm just going to go around and say, I beg you, please, you can take a minute or two. Just pick any of the questions. If you need me to remind you, I can do that. Just pick anyone. Let's pick one and just quickly respond to it.
So maybe I'll take two, but in 30 seconds. For the person speaking who asked the question around vision or failure, what you need to do is to write out a confession. Thank God we're in Daystar. Some people call it affirmation. So, for example, get like 22 scriptures from the Bible that speaks to the fact that you are a success. So some can be your family, some can be your career, some can be whatever. Confess it. Because right now you are seeing yourself as a failure 7 times every day. Later you can reduce to 5, later you can reduce to 3. Start by reading it. When you confess it adequately enough, you won't need the paper again. You will install it mentally. Then also create around you either pictures, images, maybe on your fridge, on your mirror, your screensaver. Just put success everywhere. It takes a superior image to remove an inferior image. But if you don't have an image at all, an inferior image can be very sticky. Now, for the person that asked around being tired about their financial industry, look, I need to say this. And I like the fact that I said it. In every glamour, there's stress, things we don't like. For example, we see doctors and say, oh, she's a medical doctor, but she deals with blood. That part may not be very interesting. However, map your exit. What are you exiting to? So you have told us what you want to exit from, but it's very important to know what you want to transition to. What are your plans? Now, in the financial sector, a lot of people use it very vaguely. What do you mean? They will say, I'm a banker. Who is a banker? There are different aspects. Identify your own specific aspects. What are the transferable skills that you have there so that you can pivot and pilot to another industry? Now, take additional, for example, certifications, courses that will help you move to that place you are going to. Begin to aggressively apply and look for industry associations, network, and begin to relate. But where you are right now, put in your best. Most of my friends that have left their jobs, they got the job while they were serving a customer where they are. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Another, let's go.
So I'll just say a thing on visions of failure. Lately, well, there's no business person that doesn't have worries. I'm sure he would confirm that. You sleep worrying, you wake up worrying. The product, government parastatals, the money, something. And that was almost eating me up at some point in time. And what I did was I told my husband, in fact, he would see me. I told my husband, I said, I'm going to start praising every time worry comes. So every time I start to think about, oh God, that repayment, oh God, that, just start saying, Baba, I choose deliberately to do that thing immediately it comes. Now, I have found out, my late pastor, Pastor Tao Dukoya, blessed memory, will tell me that words matter a lot. When you use your mouth, don't think it, or don't think your answer. And that's what I'll tell that person. Do not say, oh, I will not. And I'm happy he's talked about affirmations. Whenever the thoughts come, please ensure that you say no. Another thing I like to say is no. I say no. So sometimes you just have crazy thoughts. As I'm going, so what if I just fall on that ledge? I'll say, I say no. I say it out. I deliberately say it out. Because when you do, you silence the enemy. Finally, there's no more room. And I found out that even when I started praising, or when I say no, it stops. The thought automatically just stops. I don't go on anything anymore. So you have to deliberately say it. Many people will say, in my mind, it will not happen to me. No, 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 no. You say it out. And the moment you do, you terminate that line of thought immediately. And that's something that person must learn to do. Failure is not ours. The Bible promises that he knows the plans he has towards us to prosper us. And that's what ours. That's prosperity is ours. Now, location, right? Location, somebody mentioned business and how location, as a matter of fact, location is one of the most critical points for success in business. Many people enter into it falsely thinking, I can change it. I will do it. I've done everything. You get into a wrong relationship, you start spending even more because you think of how you can probably broadcast. You have DJs stand outside. You spend more and more and more just to, you advertise more, you do more marketing. Can I have bug off this week? Buy one, get two. I mean, you just keep sending. So location is a definite no-no. If it's not good, it's not good. You cannot change it. If it's obscure, it's obscure. Move on. Don't be sentimental about it. Don't say, oh, I've been waiting all the way. I prayed, and God said he was going to answer it this month. God will answer it, but he will not answer it with the wrong location. So please don't fall for it.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, are you taking any of the questions?
Okay, let me talk about career and spirituality. So we have 24 hours in a day, and we have time allotted to our career, especially time where maybe you need to be at work, whether online or on site. We can actually run both, be successful at both without them interfering. So you don't do church or spiritual activities when you're supposed to be. Yeah, there are times you can go into the restroom, pray if you have to. If you're fasting, it doesn't have to be written on your forehead. If you cannot cope based on the nature of your work, then you don't have to do it. There's a way you can always maybe do it in another way. And fasting is not necessarily food. We have some people, if they don't eat at a particular time because of the nature of their work, it affects them mentally, physically, and all that. But then you can fast any other thing, fast social media, fast some unnecessary talks and all that. Just spend your time with God. And this can be done even while you carry out your duties and responsibilities. You don't go for spiritual affairs, spiritual matters when you're needed at work. If it's possible for you to take time off and it's convenient, please do. But otherwise, my birthday was which day ago? It was a full day for me. I didn't go to bed until, in fact, let me whisper, my cake is still in the fridge. I've not been able to cut it. Why? Work. But it doesn't happen like that every year. That was my 45th. But before, all the time before that, nobody disturbs me, nothing. In fact, there are times I take days off. But this one, no day. So, okay, if that is it, then no problem. So I can't get angry, upset at work, or upset at God because of a one-off in so many years. In fact, I'm grateful for relevance. So we need to be able to draw the line that at this time, this is it. At this time, this is it. And that is why I said, if you know you cannot keep your body, if you know you would burn, that if you can't keep your body and restrain yourself, then marry. Otherwise, don't, because it has its own effect. It has its own demand on you. It is there in the scripture. Everything we might need to live life is there in the Bible. So that's why we also need to study so we can pick every of life issues that we need. So both shouldn't even interfere. In fact, we should use our spirituality to get better at our career. That's the truth. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. I know you want to give, I don't mean just before you speak, I want to add a few other questions and then both of you can make comment. There's a question here that says, how can I fulfill purpose in government sector? You can help us add it to your responses. And then from Zoom, we have, what do you do when you work and give results, but your boss still prefers the person who does less? They don't recognize what you do, even when you ask what you want me to do. Also, what do you do when your boss keeps making mistakes? And when you try to correct, because you know you will take the brunt, but it doesn't listen, and you end up taking the brunt. How does one scale a business from skill acquisition to global market? I just thank my God and my Father in heaven because I'm not on the seat. So it's your responsibility. Help us.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to speak to the lady online initially who has an emotional challenge. I haven't been robbed twice. I'd like to say, look, danger lurks everywhere. There's danger everywhere. So even in your business, you can encounter danger by merely being indoors and just sitting at home. God forbid, evil can come meet people at home. So you need to shift your mindset. Understand that, you have a God you serve, and trust God. Look for scriptures that speak around and speak to the safety God would guarantee you. You understand? I don't think you should be doing trial and error. There's no time. Life is short. Every single day you must maximize it. So I don't think those two experiences of getting robbed is enough for you to quit working if that's what you want to do. So if you want to go back into paid employment, 6 scriptures that speak to safety, confess them so you can get out of that mindset. 2 is face your career. And if it's business, from what she said, I think she's still trying to navigate through business. I would say that why not go back into paid employment and then be trying business on the side to see what works for you. Eventually, you weigh both and decide which way you want to go. But time is of the essence. Before you know it, 5, 10 years have gone past, and time is critical.
Thank you.
When it comes to career, you need to, fast track things. You don't have time, to be honest. I think you spoke about
which one of them now?
One of the last ones you
No, you were
mentioned.
saying, how when you keep working and working and your boss does not recognize what you do,
Yes.
and then you are trying to advise your boss, but he refuses your advice.
Okay. So I learned something long ago. Pastor Sam preached the message way back. It had to do with doing your job as unto God. So I held on to that. And that for me is my motto. It's been a driving force for me. So I treat my job as though, okay, God is my line manager. And it's God. So of course, he desires excellence. So that shapes how I deal with my task on a day-to-day. So 1, keep giving value. Do your job as unto God. And I always add to that in the place of doing your job as unto God, you may not get rewarded where you're at, but your reward will always come to you. It could be somewhere else. So keep giving your best. Your boss, everybody has leanings, they have preferences and all that. And you might just be that it's time for you to start looking for another job. It just might be, but that's left for you to decide, but don't let that stop you from giving your best. Keep doing your best. You're being paid to deliver value. So focus on delivering value, Also find ways around how you can better foster a good relationship with that line manager, but don't be, sorry, the word you were going to use came back.
Please don't.
Okay. Don't play eye service.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And if it's time to leave, it just might be time to leave. So start looking for something else. And when it comes to advice your boss in the way that they would be open to it. There's some bosses you can speak very bluntly to, in quotes. There's some who you have to be very diplomatic. Just find what works. Why? Because the most you can do is advice. You cannot force your boss to embrace your views. You still have his or our own views.
That's true.
Do you get? But if you see danger, for instance, you should be able to advise whether or not your boss is open to advice. Do your bit and leave the rest. But do it in a way that your boss would be able to receive it. And that comes from studying your boss, knowing your boss, and knowing how they want to be addressed. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Doctor, quickly add to it. I have a slew of questions and we have to close this. So please just add a comment and I will read the next set of questions and then we'll close this session.
Back to the question on spirituality and career. I need us to get to the fact that it is the same. So actually in Hebrew, the word worship and work is the same. So you are not a Christian on Sunday and something else on Monday. When do we pray? We pray without ceasing, endlessly. So you must blur that line. You are not A Christian is a Christian 247, and you are working as a Christian. So you are a working Christian. Now, quickly to the question on your boss. Just want to add this, especially because she mentioned if you see danger. Your advice, put it in writing. One day, Yahweh will gas, and they will deny that your advice. Email is always very good. Please be very, very polite and professional. I just needed to add that.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless you. I'll come to you, Brother Oluwaseun. And I see a question that I have been perceptive about. Some of the questions I've been pushing to you. This is from someone from Facebook. It says, I have failed multiple times. I'm still failing, but I'm tired now. How do I start afresh? I mean, I feel very emotional having to share this. If your life work has been all healthcare and well-being, how can I make a living, especially in Nigeria? And the person had, please, sir or ma. Another question from Facebook. I'm into fashion designing, and I wish to further my education and upgrade my skills. Which one should I do first? Please allow me to read this next set of questions so you can just take the ones that ministers to you. As an entrepreneur, when you feel, okay, I can't see the handwriting. My question is based on opportunity. As someone trying to transition to career from entrepreneurship, new in Lagos too, what do you suggest I do as regards getting opportunity? Because Lagos seems to be about who you know, not what you know. Is it not everywhere? Is it only Lagos? Who said, what should I prioritize, learning or earning? Okay. Okay. In this Tinubu, was he asking? Doing clothing business for over 30 years, importing, and Nigeria happened, dollar rise, people stopped buying. What do one do next? Or how do you help me? What do I do next? I love my job. Okay, this is sensitive. I'd appreciate if you can speak to it. What happens if you have put in all your effort to make success in what you do, but things are not working many things are not working in Nigeria? So it's not necessarily your issue. You can help me take them one after the other. Okay, so we have to be done in 5 minutes. So please, yours, because you've not spoken, and then we can just take final comments, I think.
All right. So for the person that said he or she has failed over and over again and is still failing, first, I'm sorry that has been your experience, but I want to encourage you that that is not the end of it. Okay. What I would advise that you do, because it seems to me when you use the word, you are at the point now that you feel like you don't want to try anymore, which is a point that once in a while, some of us also get to that point on particular things that we just feel we've done everything that we know how to do. We've tried over and over. We've quoted scriptures, we've prayed, we've fasted, and it seems nothing is just working. That is the time to find support. If you belong to a faith-based system where you have brethren of like mind who can hold you up in prayer, who can sit with you, because sometimes also, because you've done this over and over again, there seems to be a loop. Doc talked about the fact that you need to do confessions. And I was going to add also to that person, digressing a bit, that as you confess, you also be mindful of what you are consuming, especially mentally. So if you are consuming negativity, if you are hanging out with negativity and you are doing confession, it's not going to work. It's the same way. I've been trying to lose weight for many years, and the simple advice is less calorie in, more calorie burns. So if you're trying to get on track of success, you need to find out where is your bucket leaking? What are the things that you are taking in that is not helping? Who are the people that you are hanging out with? Because that also matters. What kind of news are you consuming? There was a time that I stopped completely listening to news because it was affecting me. I wake up in the morning with a lot of anxiety and I was wondering why. It's because I go to bed. The last thing I do before going to bed is reading news. And half of it, or maybe 70, 80% of it is bad news. So be mindful of what you are consuming. Find a support system. You're at a point where you may not, in this season, have the strength within you to push through this period. So you need to find people that would be helpful to you, that will hold you up and can get you moving on. But I can assure you, failure is not the end. And the beautiful part of it is also that you also need, even right now, to embrace what I will call conscious optimism, to see everything that you've been through as being useful for what is coming. If you begin to see it that way, you don't necessarily now have to say, I've failed. I've tried, but I've not succeeded. But I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm persevering, I'm building up resilience and grit through all of this. If you begin to reframe your experience, if you sit in counseling, that's probably what you'll be told to take that same experience and begin to reframe it and think about it differently. That gives you fuel also to move forward. But most importantly, I would really, really encourage you that you find people that can support you through this season.
Mrs. Adeyemi, last words in 60 seconds. 60 seconds. We have to leave.
So what I'll say is persevere. Surround yourself, like he has said, with very optimistic people and situations, and be very prayerful. Always go back to God. He has the master plan.
Thank you so very much.
Okay, so the God factor first for me as well. Always go to God, talk to him. Is that he listens. It will guide you. Then whatever you need to do to get better, eat it, drink it every day. This is what I want to do. Even if you don't know, God will lead you, will guide you. Then be persistent, learn more, improve at whatever it is. And the sky is not the limit, but the beginning. Thank you.
Anchor yourself in scripture. I'll dash you 3 quickly. Though your beginning is small, your later end will greatly increase. I have been young, now I am old. I have never seen the righteous forsaken, nor a seed beg for bread. Though I am tried, our comfort has good. God bless you.
For me too, is the God factor. Always go back to God. He created you. He knows the way and the path you should to. Every time I've had to change jobs, I've always said, Lord, what do I need to do? And he would always come through. He's always come through. I mean, this last job I have, the role I'm in currently, I said, Lord, what do I do? He said, update your LinkedIn profile. And it was, I kept procrastinating because I had so much to do, but it lingered in my heart. And one day I got home, and I think I sat between 9 p.m. and 11 p.m. So much so that my husband said, what's up? What are you doing? What are you working on? That's so serious and important. But I didn't let go until I finished. I finished around 11 p.m. And that's how I got found. So always go back to God. He's the anchor of everything.
Thank you so very much. I don't know if you have any last word for us. So
I'll just say thank you for showing up. Your presence here today shows that you want to grow, and I pray that you get to where you are dreaming to go and beyond. And I also encourage you to stay, because some of the questions that were asked, I understand we're going to be having a workshop where we can drill deep into the things that you've asked. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so very much. So I think it was 2 years ago that we were planning for the year. And I was telling the team that it doesn't feel like we are a spiritual department. I mean, the career team. Because whilst other departments in church are always fasting and praying and doing night vigil, we were typically working on PowerPoint slides, having workshops. And the truth is, this is how we serve. This is how we allow God to use us to change your lives. And so we might not have prayed a lot, may not have fasted. We didn't even do praise and worship when we started. This is spiritual exercise. And I'm just so thrilled, so glad that you allowed yourself to be used, and also that you came and you're here listening to them. Please help me appreciate them for the time. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Beside the fact that I really had a nice time, I learned quite a lot from what you shared, and I wanted to say thank you personally from me. Like Mr. Foluasho said, many of the conversations and questions that we've not been able to answer, we'll be doing that in the groups. For those online, this is the appetizer, right? The main course is actually the workshop, and you're going to have a lot of useful conversation. Thank you so very much. God bless you. Thank you. Pictures for our participators.
Please keep the applause coming. So while the pictures are ongoing, I'm going to move around quickly. Please, I would appreciate if you We can take pictures of facilitators, then with our moderator. Bless. Oh my. Okay, so please look here, and online, please. I need one response online. I need one person to quickly tell me one key takeaway for them at this time. Just one person. You don't know if that's what will change your life. Just one person. You don't know the speech that you're going to say that will change. One person. And if we don't get any hand up, I probably just walk to you quickly. Okay, so one hand is up. And I need somebody online. I saw the lady first. Sorry.
Thank you very much for this initiative. Okay, I was actually on my way here and I was listening to the conversation from my phone. And I heard when I joined early, so I don't know his name, when he mentioned that if you belong to a professional organization and you are in the manufacturing sector, that means you belong to two sectors and that you should make sure that you are relevant in both sectors. So that is a key point.
Please, a round of applause for her. So you have to actively participate in your industry. Okay, so I guess the team would get me one person who, one of the comments online, and we'll be reading that later. But right now, what stood out for me is 3 things. God is the center of everything. So if you have God, you know that he will direct your path and you know what your purpose is as you go along. Now, the second thing is, for me, summarily, is relationships. Know how you work with your boss, your teammates, and all. And that's why this next session is very important. Some of us, please, if you know you've had issues with understanding who you are, what you're going to do with your life, please, I just want to see your hands up. If you don't be afraid, me too. I'm having it. So we are all in the same boat, right? And so, but we need to understand who we are for us to even understand the next person and then know how to work with them. And that's why the personality test session that is going to come up now is very important. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Ade. So all of a sudden, I forgot his name. Pardon me, please. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Adeyemi Roti. Please, I need you to give him a warm round of applause so that he can forgive me for forgetting his name in a split second. Please keep the applause coming. Please keep the applause coming. Can I pass the mic now? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. My name is Adeyemi. Please, let's have the slide. I have only 30 minutes, and personality assessment is supposed to take 3 hours and more, but I will have to reduce my 100 slides to just 13. So you know what that means. So you have to follow me please help me so that I won't take our time. And so let me start this way. I want every one of us to do something like this. Can we do like this? Oh, thank you. How many of you have your left thumb up? Your left thumb is the one up. Your left thumb is up. It's okay. How many of you have your right thumb up? So it's just to show us how different that we are. I didn't say put your left thumb up or lift your. So please, let's quickly do this. We are going to just answer 2 questions, and I'm going to be able to tell you what your calling is, what your life essence is, and what your purpose is. But you have to follow this. So just 2 questions. There are 4 questions I'm supposed to ask, but because of time, I've reduced it to 2. So look at what we have on the screen. How many of you think that the items under A describe you, or you think the items under B describe you? Just look on the screen. I like the fact that we can all see this. How many of you think you like hearing facts and details first? You prefer the tried and true, something that's been done before. You like to repeat it, or you're somebody who like to try new things. If you have tried one thing once, twice, you are tired, want to do another thing. How many? Just look at it. How many of you see problems as needing specific solutions? Or do you see problems as opportunity to involve, to innovate based on inspiration? How many of you think that you like to focus on practical applications of a situation? Or do you think you focus on future possibilities of situation? Just take 1 minute to think about this. If you think you are more of A, just write A on a sheet of paper. Or if you think you are B, just write B on a sheet of paper, and that will be the first question. Some people are very creative, innovative. They think in pictures. Let me ask, for instance, how many of you think with pictures, or you work with pictures in your mind? If you are given an assignment until You're able to create pictures of what is being said or what you are reading. If you think you're more of that, let me also say that the two will describe you, but which one describes you more? Which one describes you more? If you think you're someone who like details, like repetition, when you're reading your notes, you can read it 4 or 5 times before you write an exam, then you're more of this. But some people, they just read once, twice, and they're ready for an exam. Then you're more of this. If you think you're more of A, please write A. If you think you're B, write B. Have we all done that? Well, thank you. Please, next slide. Next slide. Next slide, please. Thank you. Let's look at this. Some people are very detached. They are very critical, very analytical, very logical. They are tough-minded. Some people, they look at problems look at problem in terms of cause and effect. Some other people are personal. They are very personable. They are sympathetic. They are empathetic. They are soft-hearted. They are diplomatic. They are kind. They are nice. Then you are B. This should be very easy for us. Are we finding this difficult? The two will describe you. Which one describes you more? If you are struggling, cast your mind back to when you were in secondary school. This should even determine the course you study in the university. I like to do this for younger people. I've done this for even children as young as 9 years old, so that the parents can find the direction for their children from early. But because we are older people here, we want to change career, you need to know who you are. You need to understand what your areas of strengths are and what your areas of weaknesses are. So if you have you all written something down here? Please do this very well so that the next slide will make sense to you. If you think you're more of a critical, analytical, logical, rational, direct in speech, and tough-minded person, or you think you are kind, nice, sympathetic, empathetic, soft-hearted. For instance, if you watch an emotional movie and you find yourself crying, you're more of B. So those are people who are, emotional. Thank you. Let's go to the next slide. So I want to talk to you about if what you wrote is B, if you are here and what you wrote down is BB, the first one you wrote B, second one you wrote B. Let me see your hand up. Let me see your hand up. This is something that is related to your calling, your purpose, and your essence. You can quickly snap this, you will need it. You are supposed, it's simple, it's very simple. Your life is supposed to be empowering individuals and fostering harmony and authenticity and growth while aligning with your values and promoting a more compassionate and meaningful world. What it means is that you have to deal with people. If you can't understand this long English, you are supposed to be dealing with human beings. That should affect what you study in the university. That should affect the career you find yourself, because this program is about finding purpose in career. You will only find purpose in your career if you are dealing with human beings. Please, let's get back to the slide, please. If you are dealing with human beings, your life is supposed to be impacting people every day directly. Thank you. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah, so look at some of the careers. These are just 10. There are thousands, hundreds of careers that you can find yourself. But you're supposed to be doing something like this. Why are you doing something like this? It's because this is what drives you. People who are BP, their life's calling and purpose is to empower people, develop people, inspire hope in people, motivate people, advocate for positive change for people, and heal people emotionally. That is your calling, that is your essence, and that is your purpose. So you see them in these sort of careers. Let's go to the next one. If you wrote BA, next slide, please. BA. If you wrote BA in this simple exercise we did, let me see your hand. B, the first one, second one, A. Thank you. This is something that is related to your calling, your essence, and your purpose. Even when I do recruitment for people, if you're looking, for instance, you're looking for someone who is innovative, this is what I would just look for. Oh, somebody is very creative. I will just ask you these 2 questions. If your answer is BA, you're likely going to be successful. And what do? They are called to empower innovation and progress. BA people catalyze change and growth, leveraging strategic thinking and creativity. BA people are strategic people. So what you should find yourself in such jobs. Let's look at some of the jobs that they will use this. This is your essence. What do you mean by essence? Everywhere you have ever been in your life, this is what you do naturally. This is what you drop there in your home with your friends, with your siblings, with your parents. This is how you talk. This is how you think. You don't know, but that's the summary. That is your essence. Very important. Let's go to some of the careers. Next slide, please. So they are strategic consultants. They are the high T people. They are people who write codes. They are people who are engineers. They are architects, they are future, they are scientists, they are artificial intelligence developer. Why do they do this? It's because they love knowledge. Sorry, if you are BA, let me see your hand. Somebody raise their hand. Do you love knowledge? Do you like research? Do you love research? I mean, are you just saying it to... it's as simple as that. If you are BA, you should love knowledge. You should love knowledge. But the other one I showed, which is BB, you may be saying, I'm BB, but I love knowledge too. Do you know why? You will see that your first letters are the same. BA and BB. That first B is what makes you to love knowledge. But BB love knowledge of human beings. Is to help humanity. BA people love inanimate things. That's why they love logic. They love research. That's the difference. It's okay. Please look at this. Let's go to the next one because of our time. Thank you, studio. How many of you wrote AA? The first one you wrote A, second one you wrote A. It's okay. These people are efficient people. They are operations people. Look at what I wrote there. I said building stability and efficiency. They bring practicality. DAs are very practical. Sorry, AA. Sorry, if you raise your hand for AA, let me see your hand. They are usually very practical. They are very precise. And they are very reliable. Very reliable. So that's why they are chosen really, they are usually very good as administrators, very good as operations. If you are AA here and you love operations or administration, coordination, how many of you fall into that category? If you are AA, that is something that is your essence. That is your calling. That is related to your purpose. Of course, I created a framework of saying, who says that personality plus your passion plus your natural ability gives us an idea of what your purpose is. But because of our time, we couldn't go through all of that. I just chose personality is what we are looking at. So when you combine your personality with your passion and your natural ability, it gives us an idea of what your purpose is. Let's see some of the careers for them. Next slide, please. Thank you. Look at some of it. Operations, they're into finances, financial management, IT manager. Why do they love that? Because they love to master concrete facts. They love to work with concrete facts. And that's why they excel in some of these careers. It's okay. Let's go to the last one. And everybody in the world can be grouped like this. There's nobody here, if you have done this assessment, that will not find yourself in this simple exercise we have just done. Let's look at this also. If you are AB here, let me see your hand. AB. Let's see what we have. Nurturing connections and well-being amongst people. AB types foster harmony, balance, using their empathy and practicality to support individuals and communities. So these people are very practical and they love connections. They relate well. They excel in customer service. They excel in hospitality. Let's see some of the careers that they excel in. I'm going to take questions. That's why I want to quickly rush through the slides. So they are usually very good as nurse. So let's see anyone here. Is anyone here who is AB and is in any of this career who feels, oh, it's okay? What do you do, please? It's okay. Yeah, they are good nurses. They are also good teachers, particularly elementary school teachers. If you are BA, you're also a good teacher, but you teach well in the university. There's a difference. There's a difference. If you're a BA, you'll be good as a university lecturer. But if you are AP, you will be good as primary, secondary, not university. No, you stop at secondary. So they're very good in human resource and all of that. So that's just the simple presentation I have. Do we have questions? Let me just hear our questions and we'll finish here now. Thank you. Any questions? No questions. Go ahead. Thank you. Thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you very much for, no, please, I have a question. So this is a question, and that's why I was raising my hand. Now, there were conversations or questions around knowing how to relate with your bosses and your subordinates. Now, while understanding my personality, how can I begin to understand the personality of people around me so that I can understand the best way to work with them and ensure good relationship, work, church, across the board?
Thank you very much. So, because I use this for recruitment, the first thing we do is you will relate with a good boss, or your boss will relate well with you. Number one, when you share the same personality. We have found out that people enjoy relating with their bosses are people who share the same personality with such bosses. For instance, if you are a BA, BAs are usually hard workers, they are critical thinkers. So when we want to recruit for a department, so what we do is, I'll first of all ask, who is the head of this department? I'll profile the head of the department. Then I'll now say, oh, you want accountant in this department. So I will now look for an accountant who is also a BA. That's the first thing. So because they will be thinking in the same way, because BAs are hard workers, that accountant also is an hard accountant. I mean, who works hard. So, or if you are, for instance, AB, soft, caring person, so, and you want to recruit somebody to work in your department, when I know who you are as the supervisor, because is it Professor Clifton that said people don't leave an organization, but they leave their supervisors. Most people leave their organization not because they hate the policies of the organization, but if you have a very bad supervisor, can make you to resign. But the stress will be too much. But if your personalities are aligned, you are likely going to be able to work with such a boss. So the first thing is, when you get into an organization, study your boss. If you are lucky that both of you share the same mental preference or personality, you are going to enjoy each other. If you don't have, then you have to understand your boss. It's very important for you to understand your boss so that you can work with that boss. A lot of our presenters here have said that you should know how to speak to your boss. No, if you want to correct your boss, don't just talk. No, find the Momo button. I think she said that. Find what's your boss, the soft spot of your boss, then you can relate with them. So I think that can work. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Thank you very much. God bless.
If you've learned a lot so far, please, I need a better round of applause. If you now understand your personality type, please give Mr. Adeyemi another resounding round of applause. I have gained clarity. I believe some other individuals here have gained clarity, and those of us joining online, I want to believe you've also gained clarity to a large extent. I know that we've had a great time in the sessions, but it's not all. Many of us still have questions to ask, things on our minds, and now it's time for the main course, where we'll be split into 3 teams. And so if you're a career starter, you're at the mid-level of your career, or you are part of legacy who have been working for 15, 20 years, this is the time to go into clusters, have conversations with facilitators to guide you on next steps to take in your career journey or in your business journey. And for career starters, we'll be using the main church, mid-level would be at the gallery, and legacy would be children's church. So please we'll be guided. Once this session is over, we'll be guided on how we should move. So find individuals who are wearing shirts like mine, and then they would, of course, coordinate how you'd move to groups. Once again, career starters, main church, mid-level career professionals will be at the gallery, and for legacy would be at children's church. And for my online family, please drop the hearts, drop the messages what you've learned so far. And fear not, there are also groups online. So just check the comments. You see links to the different groups that you would fall under: career starters, mid-level, and legacy. Your facilitators would also be in those groups, ready to guide you on your conversations. So thank you very much. A round of applause for yourselves. And now it's time for you to start connecting. Please, I'm imploring us. They've said it. We also need to connect with people within our space or sphere of influence. So as you join these clusters, please remember to connect with the next person beside you. Get to meet people, because it's not enough for you to learn. You also need to meet people, because those are your stepping stones to greatness as well. All right, so it's time for us to move. If you know you're a career starter, please remain here. Mid-level will be at the gallery, and legacy will be Children's Church. So thank you, our facilitators. We can move into these groups right now. And coordinators, please, can you guide people? So if you look behind you, you would see people holding cardboards, and that would direct you to where you belong. So just look at those boards and move accordingly so that you don't fall in the wrong groups. Thank you very much. Okay, so for career starters, 0 to 7 years. Mid-level is about 7 to 14 years. Then anything after that, our mommies and our daddies, is the legacy category. Please remember to network as you move along. So once again, 0 to 7 years, career starters. So 8 years to 14 years, mid-level career professionals, and 15 years and above is the legacy group. So please, let's move as quickly as possible so that we can maximize the time. This is the time for us to ask all the questions, the burning questions in our hearts. So legacy is Children's Church. Behind, for legacy group, you'd have to step out and go behind to the Children's Church. And if you are unclear, just find someone wearing the DCDP shirt and ask for guidance. So please, at this time, if you are under career starters, can we move? We can see the bodies here. So can we move as much as we can this way? So we can fill these 2 seats so we can see clearly. Fear not, your spaces would be. If you can see, it's fine. But so that you can hear clearly, you can move this way. Oh, okay. So I think everybody should Okay, so for the online community, we also have groups: career starters, mid-level career, and legacy. Please kindly check the comments. You would see the links online. Please just keep checking. And also coordinators online, please constantly drop the links to the different groups so that everyone can join in good time and we can maximize this time. Need to be specific about this for 10 days. Yes, for somebody. Okay, so just realize this is why they say communication. You think you've communicated and you haven't. 0 to 7 years work experience, business experience, that's the category that we're looking at, not your age, because I'm not expecting a 7 or a 14-year-old to be at this event right now. So please, it's number of years of work experience or times you've been in business, years you've been in business.
Yeah. Because then I have to be screaming next slide.
Okay. Good. I think this is still morning. So good morning, everyone. Please, if you are a career starter, that is between 0 to 5 years, 7 years work experience. Please, can you kindly? There's no link. There's no link. Okay, so don't expect to get a link. There is no link that will be shared on the chat. So just check on your screen. You will see breakout rooms. All right. On your chart, you're going to see a link. So please stop expecting a link. There will be no link sent to you on the charts. Just check on the front of your Zoom screen. You're going to see under live. You're going to see breakout rooms. So please just click on the breakout rooms and then you select your room. All right. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Once again, good morning. Please, the breakout rooms have been created. All right. So I know there's no link that is going to be created on the chat. The way it operates is if you look on the screen, you're going to see kindly click the link in the comment section to join the breakout room. There is no link in actual fact. It is the breakout rooms. There's an icon showing under live. All right. So that's where you click to join. Do you understand? Thank you. Shegun Akyode, I don't know, maybe you, okay. Shegun Akyode wants to speak. Let me see. Because there seems to be some. Okay, I've unmuted you, Brashegun.
Okay, so the challenge we are having is that we cannot see any breakout room. There is no on the screen for Zoom at the moment. Nothing is showing for the online participant to join breakout room. So that's why everybody's waiting for that to show, but not yet. So maybe you can talk to the technical team to help us out.
Okay. I'll do that right away. But let me send a screenshot of what I can see. I'll send you a screenshot of what I can see on the group.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, hello everyone. Yeah, okay, so sincere apologies for the technical issues we are having. Okay, so um, once again, sincere apologies for the technical challenges. So what we're trying to do now is that everyone is going to be actually logged out of this session, and you are going to be enabled. The link will be reset because it appears there's some technical challenges why you are not able to join the breakout room. So please be patient. The admin will log everyone out, and then you use the same link to re-log in back to the session so that you'll be able to join the breakout room. So that's what we're trying to do now. So please exercise a bit more patience. Thanks for your understanding.
Thank you.
So
Okay,
sincere
so if you
apologies. Okay,
yes,
Baruchi, go
okay,
ahead.
okay, thank you very much. All right, so what we're saying is the link will be. I mean, you need to use the link. We're going to shut down this chat. We're shutting down this chat, and the Zoom session. We're shutting it down, and then you use the same link to re-log in so that we'll be able to join your various groups. So just want to apologize once again. Thank you. Hello, please. I think this has been rectified. So please kindly confirm. You will see some 4 buttons, breakout rooms, on your top left-hand corner of the screen. Please kindly click on it so that you can select the your own breakout session. So please let's kindly do that.